first like to say is good morning. We're 2220 Aretha Castle Haley at the Dryad YMCA in County District B. And we're doing we're giving out tarps today to those affected by Hurricane Zeta and potentially have roof damage. And so with that, I have Honorable Jay Banks, a council member from District B here, and I wanted to step back, give him an opportunity to talk about what's going on this morning, and then I'll come back and give you more information.
Oh, thank you. Good morning, everyone. This is not anything that we wanted to do. It requires that we do it, though, because if our citizens need help, please know that we're going to do all we can do to help them. Now, nobody anticipated us having all of these storms. Nobody anticipated a storm coming this late in the year, but the good part about it is that if you're going to be in a storm, the best place for you to be is in New Orleans. We have done this drill before. We're good at it, and we're going to make sure that our citizens get through this. I want to say to all of those folks who are still dark, by the way, I don't have power. So for all of you all who are still waiting for your lights to come on, they're working intentionally to get them on. We know that this is not easy, but please know that we're working as hard as we can to get all of us restored. These tarps, if you need them, please come and get them. We are, again, very sorrowful that this storm hit us, but if you've got to be hit by a storm, you need to be in a place that's going to do all they can do to get you back up and running, and that is the city of New Orleans. So I'm happy to partner with the administration. They have provided this service, and if you need it, please come and get it. Everybody be safe. And finally, COVID is not over, so please wear your mask, and do not forget this, that this thing is far from over in terms of the pandemic. So everybody be safe, and we will get through this. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. And we really do appreciate, obviously, City of New Orleans, City Council, all of our council members are out today working on this project. This is just one location of 7. I'll go over the others. And then also, in particular, thanks to the state of Louisiana, and in particular the Louisiana National Guard for making these tarps happen. They're 25 by 20 tarps. You just need to show up with an address for the property that's damaged, and you can get one. In District A at the Mid-City Library, 4140 Canal Street. Here in District B at the Dryad YMCA, again, 2220 O.C. Haley. In District C, there's 2, because we have East Bank and West Bank. On the West Bank, it's the Arthur Monday Center at 1111 Newton. In District C, on the East Bank, it's at Noka at Charter Street, Homer Plessy. In District D, it's at the intersection of Desire and Law. And in District E, we have 2 locations, St. Maria Goretti Church at 7300 Crowder Boulevard, and in the lower 9th Ward at New Philippians Missionary Baptist Church at 5234 North Cleveland. So again, those locations should be open until their supplies run out, maybe about another hour. So it has been brisk all morning at these locations, which is great. I'd also like to say that we are still obviously experiencing power outages. The numbers hovering down around 60,000 without power this morning. That is down from 178,000 at the peak of the storm. Peak outages were about 178,000 in Orleans Parish, so being down around 60. I know there's many that aren't in that number yet, but we're moving in the right direction with energy. We're also working with energy. I just came from the office. We're working with the Registrar of Voters, the Clerk of Courts, and the state of Louisiana regarding next Tuesday and elections. You know, we have about 40 polling locations that are still without power, but those restorations are occurring really by the minute and by the hour. So we'll also have a plan in place for generators for those polling places that don't have power by Tuesday, and that's, I would say, really feverish work that's going on right now to make that a possibility. Also, with the power situation, we're still looking out for our friends and neighbors and residents that have maybe medical issues that are dependent on power. If you need to charge up a medical device, you can go to the Rosenwald Center, the Rosenwald Rec Center on Earhart Boulevard between 8 and 6 p.m. and you can get your device charged there. And then if you are oxygen dependent, you can go to one of 3 fire stations in New Orleans from 8 to 6. Fire Station 1, 2920 Magazine. Fire Station 27, that's at 2118 Elysian Fields. And on the West Bank at Fire Station 40, which is 2500 General de Gaulle. Those 3 fire stations, you can exchange your tanks for full tanks, free of charge. Again, we're talking about tarps, we're talking about debris. Ramsey Green, the Deputy CEO of Infrastructure, is here. He's going to talk specifically about debris. I want to talk about damage to your business or your residence. If you have damage to your business or residence, it will help us in getting with the federal government and the state to develop individual assistance if you document that damage with photos at damage.la.gov. Again, that's damage.la.gov. That's going to give us a great starting point to be able to show the federal and state authorities what kind of damage overall we're looking at in the city, which will assist us in further benefits down the road. So please, again, if you have damage to your business or residence, damage.la.gov. If you are a person who maybe has some issues and needs some help cleaning up debris around your place, we have a hotline with crisis cleanup. That number is 504-350-0788. Again, that's 504-350-0788. We appreciate our volunteers in this time. They always show up and they're willing to help those in need who need to help with debris. I would just like to say before, from my office, the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, we saw a terrifying and despicable act yesterday committed against 2 New Orleans police officers in the French Quarter. My office is, our thoughts and prayers are with those officers, and in particular the officer who was shot. We hope for a very speedy recovery. And thank you. Ramsey?
Thanks so much, Colin, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to start with just infrastructure, and then I'll get into debris. That's probably a hot item right now, obviously. Driving around, folks will notice we've got more traffic lights coming on, which is a big win. But additionally, the Department of Public Works last night inserted A-frame stop signs at 44 intersections, which is more than NOPD requested, which is great. So if you're driving around, you'll see if there's a traffic light down, there is, in all likelihood, a stop sign there. If you don't see a stop sign, if the traffic light is out, an out traffic light is a 4-way stop sign. I'm just going to keep saying that, particularly at night. It's very dangerous to be driving around with the few traffic lights that are out right now. But again, big thanks to the Department of Public Works for pulling it off. They're deploying more today. Big also thanks to the Department of Transportation and Development at the state level. They're covering state routes, which include Broad Street, Claiborne, and a number of other avenues throughout the city. Sewage and Water Board, we reported yesterday of their 83 sewer lift stations, they lost power in 73. As of yesterday, that number was down to 30. This morning, it's down to 22. So power is now at all of the Sewage and Water Board sewer lift stations except 22. Thanks to deployment of generators and back trucks, we're getting really stable on the wastewater side. But please continue to limit. Don't overdo wastewater coming out of your house. Finally, on debris, we just put a public notice out via social media. We're doing debris cleanup in 3 phases. Right now, phase 1 is what you do at your house. Your normal trash day is this week. You will have 2 of them. If you're in the French Quarter, it's Wednesday, 1 day. Bring your trash to the curb. That can include storm debris. Just follow the guidelines that we put out on social media. We appreciate our media partners for putting out how do you put that trash out there. That's what we call phase 1. Phase 2 is clearing all debris off of public right-of-ways. If you are driving around today, you'll see most of the streets are open, but we have some debris on the interior side of the street where the neutral ground is and on the sidewalks. That debris will sit there for a bit. On Friday, we signed the task orders last night. We will have the heavy debris clearing equipment for major debris. That collection will start Friday. So you have some time here, but your normal trash day, feel free to bring stuff out. Just follow the guidelines that we put out in that graphic on following NOLA Ready at NOLA Ready. And then after Friday, you can put the bigger stuff should you have any on your property. Otherwise, please be safe as you're driving around the city and as you're cleaning up your own properties. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, we'll do questions. WGNO?
What about current election polling locations? What's the status of it?
It's a big issue. It's requiring maximum effort right now at both the state level and locally here with the city and the clerks. We have over 120 locations in New Orleans. Happy to say that over 80 of those right now they have power, no issues. For the others, there's two phases to this. The first phase is what we're doing right now, which is to continue working with energy to identify and prioritize those locations for restoration. We believe that's going to take care of a lot of them. The second phase is when that doesn't happen, generators will be brought in that will power the voting machines and lighting. And obviously we have some beautiful weather. Weather's not really an issue, but people will vote on Tuesday. That's the bottom line in New Orleans. And this is every parish where
Colin, just for people, people call us obviously asking, hey, this street has power, ours does not. Why is that? People obviously frustrated, and it's understandable given the storm. But what would you say to anybody just to try to explain it to people who are just wondering, what is taking so long?
It's when you see your neighbor across the street with power and you don't have it. I've been there. It's a very, very frustrating feeling. And then it's also, I would say, equally frustrating when you have power and it goes off again. And there's a couple of different things happening. Power can't be restored street by street most of the time. It just requires a lot more skill and kind of surgery than that the power company has to do. And sometimes even after they've restored you, in order to restore your neighbor, they have to turn the power off for a minute, for a little while. And so all I can really say is we've all been there, and people just need to be patient. We're about 48 hours into this, and I believe the restorations in New Orleans Parish have gone very well to this point. And I think they're going to do it.
Any other questions?
Tonight's Halloween. Any updates on changes?
I think people should be really careful. There's debris out there. There's potentially still power lines out there if people are walking around. And, the traffic situation with four-way stops, we were in a meeting with the governor the other day, and he is really keen on this because, you see people just blowing through these intersections with no lights, and I think that's really dangerous if you have children out, there's trick-or-treating going on. And then, have to say, you have to watch your gathering sizes, and you have to wear face coverings, and you have to do all those things to protect yourself from COVID because we are still in that environment. But we obviously wish everybody a happy holiday.
Thank you, everyone.